Africa Climate Summit. They are complaining that they're not getting enough global dollars to take care of the mistakes they have made. Many countries are heavily in debt because they borrow money to buy things like jet aircraft, armament, tanks, military trucks. Well, it's unfair. Those are high interest rates. And our government did it, the past one did. Yes, they did, didn't they? That's unfair. We shouldn't be stuck with that. Those debts should be erased. Erased? Where did I hear that erased before? Oh, student debt in the United States. But they are complaining because they're high debts, because their past regimes bought all this military hardware, which, let's see, they can't run it because they don't have fuel. And, and those who were in charge cleaned out the treasuries when they left. Oh, that's nice. Or a lot of the current ones. Let's see. They're having a hard time paying off their children's debt while they're in school in Switzerland. Okay. And they should have more green dollars and carbon dollars from around the world. Okay. Well, you know, the old saying, Africa is still rich in gold, silver, oil. It seems that most of the countries in Africa have oil wells. Of course, they also have starvation. Somalia used to be green. You know, North Africa 5,000 years ago was green. What happened? Roman Empire. They cut down the forest to plant fields of wheat. And the sand dunes invaded the fields of wheat. And you take an aerial shot of North Africa and see there are villages sitting in the middle of deserts. There used to be rivers there. What happened, Rome? Hey, go tax Rome instead of us. Oh, well, you should give us money. Why should we give you money again? You're not going to pay us back? What nation what nation inside of Africa who has gotten loans from the United States have ever paid them off? But a lot of buts in Africa. But we're rich in oil. As I said, you're rich in oil. But your leaders are crooked. Not my fault, is it? Your generals are crooked. Look at the Sudan. It's swimming in oil. Well, what do you do? Well, it happens to be on the Christian side. Well, a couple of years from now, all the Muslims will kill everybody on the Christian side, and then you get to export the dead people's oil. But they're still complaining. Somalia used to be green. What happened? Goats. Oh, well, let me show you this way. There's a couple of islands off the coast of California that used to be green. Oh, yes. What happened? They introduced goats to eat the weeds. What did the goats eat? Everything. They introduced cats to go after the mice. What did the cats eat? Everything. What have they been done to do? Kill all the goats, kill all the cats. It's illegal to bring a cat or a goat on that island. You'd be fined heavily. Yes. But back to Africa. They have a large population, and between wars, fighting back and forth. Well, they're fighting for gold. They're fighting for precious metals. They're fighting for lithium mines. They're countries that have lithium there. Of course, there's that bribery. I will give you an example in Sudan, or China. China's a builder in China, in Africa. And they go and they build roads. Okay? They bring 10,000 workers there and they build roads. Well, I mean, with all that labor there. I hate to say it, but you're not going to get very many road builders from the local population because it's heavy work. And the Chinese have a habit of working on a 24-hour shift. Yes. And the Chinese have a habit of buying from their own. They bring in Chinese merchants. Right. And, food stocks and everything else because they don't tap into the local food stops for 10,000, 10,000. How much rice can you get? They feed their own. Why not? Because a lot of the local population is not exactly called healthy. Different diet, different foodstuffs. It's like the U.S. military walking into a country and bringing in their own food, their own water. They drill their own wells. Same thing with the Chinese. They drill wells. They bring their own tonnage of food stocks. Oh, they may buy local produce here and there, but it's like the workers. The workers are in their own camps. Now, I do mean their own camps because there's chain link wire around their camps and their, razor wire. It keeps the locals animals out. Yes, those animals. So Africa keeps saying, well, we got all these carbon credits we can give you. Well, and keep the things like shale oil out of the place because shale oil is drilling for oil, and they have to put up with the local terrorist groups. They have to put up with the people who are stealing their oil before it's pumping into shell tankers. You can watch them right on shore. They're cutting into the pipelines. Yeah. Shell oil has to set on armed guards with the orders to shoot the locals when they find them. You better know it. There's terrorist groups. There's bandits groups. There always has been bandit groups. Mining interest. China has mining interest in there, and they have their own workers. Why? Locals. The United States may turn a blind eye. The Chinese don't do that. They have their own security. They have their own food crops. They have that stuff. They have their own workers. Kind of tell them, they work 12 hours a day in 2 shifts. That's how they build their cities. That's how they put in the roads. And then of course what happens, the government comes along and says we're not paying off the debt. Chinese have been screwed a lot of times in Africa. Yes. But that is what life is about when you're in the thing. They're complaining. They got all this debt. No, how do they get all the debt? They bought tanks and they bought jet aircraft. They bought the maintenance with that stuff. And you got foreign troops in there taking care of the jet aircrafts and the tanks. What are you going to do? Oh, we're not going to pay off our debt. Go belly up. The United States is $35 trillion in debt. You gotta forget about the debt. Don't borrow money. People won't give them. They ask for a thing. Okay, we're going to loan you this much money with this much interest, and you can pay us in gold. Oh, we're not going to keep it. So what happens? Oh, no, we don't have to do that. What happens? Well, their leaders have bank accounts in Switzerland. They own property in Florida. Think about that. You're a dictatorship in Africa, and you own property in Florida. Wow. Does that say something? Yes, it does. Or their children are going, like certain, their children go to Switzerland for an education because they can't get it there. So what are you going to do about it? Oh, you got problems.